Hi, today I'd like to take a look at how the Chinese orchestra can be used for film scoring. For the purposes of today's video, we'll be taking a look at excerpts from a film called The Goddess. It was made in Shanghai in the 1930s. I'd like to break down two different scenes I've done, and then we can take a look at the score and instrumentation. And I also want to look at how the themes can establish not just characters of people, but also of locations themselves. So let's take a look at the first scene. Okay, so that is the opening scene, mostly establishing city shots of Shanghai and showing us the main protagonist. Now I'd like to delve a little bit into the score and take a look at how the scoring went down. Right, so that was the opening cue for The Goddess. It starts with a very bright, powerful and bold theme, which is first stated by the swana. Now the swana, they might be trumpet-like in sound, but they are actually double reed instruments, so they are more related to the oboe. But indeed, in the Chinese orchestra, they play parts that would normally be played by trumpets in the Western Symphony Orchestra. So this bold theme depicts the bright city lights of Shanghai. It's also echoed by the dizi, the Chinese flutes, and also here by the hujin section, the bowed string family of the Chinese orchestra. While we can see here, we've got some pulse, melodic fragments played by the yangqin, while the sheng, which is a free reed instrument, is providing harmonic support here, which is a really good function. If you ever write for the Chinese orchestra, remember, if you want harmonic support like French horns might give in a Western orchestra, the sheng is definitely a go-to instrument. Now, after we have this theme here, we will go down to the plucked strings here, to the pipa especially, and over here, I'd like to show you, this is where the protagonist theme starts here, right? It is a very short theme, mainly stated here in the pipa, with a little bit of rhythmic and harmonic support here. Now the theme is quite gentle to portray the very gentle side, as it were, of our protagonist, who actually has a very sad story, right? So that is basically the themes. There's one setting theme for Shanghai, the city itself, and then a character theme for the protagonist. The second scene I'd like to take a look at as a slightly darker twist. What is happening here is a state of confusion in the city. It's a scene of the police arriving when there's been gangster activity, and it's absolutely chaos. Now, even though this is set in the 30s, I wanted to capitalize on one of my favorite influences, which is film noir, which of course is something much later. But what I wanted to illustrate as well is how noir and any other influence can translate very well to the Chinese orchestra. So let's have a listen to this scene, and then we'll have a quick look at the score afterwards. Right, in the beginning of that cue, we heard a very dark motif in the lower strings here with the cello and double basses here with some percussion accents as well. Okay, and here we have that nice rhythm on the paigu, which is a set of Chinese tom-toms as well, really just accentuating. But if we move up and take a look at what is happening here, we've also got a Chinese flute, the Xiao, um, playing with flutter tongue, a very sinister and ominous theme here. And then this cluster here once again goes to the Sheng, which is really good at providing harmonic support and makes it sound really very eerie. Now, if we move on a bit here, this is where the police start arriving, and there's a whole lot that happens here. And basically, what I wanted to do to really give it some drive as well here is to make this section very percussive driven and to really give an edge to that chaotic outburst that happens in the scene. Uh, use the lower strings playing sul ponticello here, and I guess it's borrowing a bit from the late great Bernard Herrmann. I couldn't resist something psycho-like in these figures that we see in the Hu Jin here, right? And then also added a solo erhu on the top here, just playing a really dissonant kind of figure here. And the aim here was just to create complete chaos with utter dissonance. And I think it's clear that it's kind of echoing a kind of psycho vibe. Okay, so with that in mind, I just wanted to show how the Chinese orchestra could actually be used effectively in many different ways, right? So I hope you found this helpful.